Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ICEcast, and I'm very excited to introduce a very good friend of mine. Some know her as 8-Bit. Some know her as Kitty Noir Cosplay. I know her as Zamoria. Hey, girl.
Hey, what's up?
So I was thinking today when you said you'd be on, we're recording on December 12th. We've known each other for, like 4 or 5 years now, right?
Yeah,
It's been a
I
while.
think. Yeah, no, it's been a very long while. I think like 2016.
Jesus.
Yeah,
And
we're going on 5 years.
we met on GTA.
Yeah,
And so
we actually met twice. we
we meet.
met we met once in I forget what it was called. It was the role play that was run by that one guy, that really awful
Mm-hmm.
guy,
I
and
never sit down.
we knew of each other, but we never interacted with each other. And
Right.
then we both went into two groups that split off from that, and those groups ended up merging together, and
Right.
then we met.
So here's my funny story about this. The first when I was looking when it came to GTA roleplay, I caught it on Twitch, and I was like, oh shit, people are acting like cops and stuff. That looks like fun. So I was like, I got to look into this. First person I came across at all was Jordan, who's a mutual friend.
Oh, okay.
And Jordan's the one that got me into one group, and he talked about like certain people here and there, and like a lot of people talked about who we know, a guy named War Ace, and they were like, your voice sounds similar to his, and I'm like, yeah, fuck that guy. So that for those who don't know, War Ace is actually my buddy Bliss that's been on multiple times. But so Jordan also mentioned, oh, we also have this girl 8-Bit, and I'm like, okay, cool, girl, that'll make roleplay pretty cool. The first interaction I had when you jumped into a party, it wasn't even role play. You jumped into the party with Jordan for something. You said like 4 words, and you were super like bitchy about it. I don't know if you were in a mood or something, and then you just dipped.
If it was Jordan, it was probably during the time where I did not like Jordan.
So you like dipped, and Jordan's like, so that's 8-Bit, and I was like, what a bitch, dude. I was like, dude, I hope I have zero interaction with her.
to be fair, before I joined Ant's group, I detested Jordan. I actually got him kicked out of our other group because I forget what happened. You know what? No, I think I know what happened. So my first roleplay, I got thrown in with some really douchey guys, and they were like, "Oh, why don't you be a prostitute because you're a girl?" Haha, whatever, right? And so my first interaction with Jordan outside of roleplay, he called me a prostitute, and I was like, "Yo, fuck that guy."
That's
and
very Jordan.
yeah, and like John had my back on it, and
Right.
everybody that you're hanging out with did. I was like, "Yeah, fuck that guy." So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I very much disliked Jordan when we first met, but Jordan's actually very sweet.
Yeah, he doesn't like to show it too often, and he doesn't want people to know, but he's actually a really caring dude. So yeah, we met through that. Played a little GTA, played some Red Dead, handful of other games, and
7 Days to Die was like super fun.
right. That's a game that I wanted to continue on with the guys that I've been playing with lately, but we actually ended up moving it over to DayZ. We've been playing that. So they actually just texted me like, "Where you at?" I'm like, "I'm getting ready to record. I'll be on in a bit." But so after that, just gaming in general goes different ways. Catch up when you can. Just talked to you last night though. Well, last night or the night before or something, and you were playing Cyberpunk. Yeah, and you're playing Cyberpunk. So this game just came out and got good reviews and bad reviews. A lot of people are complaining about the bugs.
Yeah,
it's experienced anything aside from just shit graphics. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I haven't. I can understand the frustration. Like, I completely understand. You waited like so many years for this game to come out, and it comes out, and like just small minuscule things that are upsetting. And then I heard some people having some like huge issues, like some PC players not being able to leave out of the scanning mode. People not being able to access certain things, certain menus just staying on the screen and never going away until you reset the game. The game crashing.
Right.
You know, it's and you know, I guess I'm kind of desensitized to it because I just played Watch Dogs Legion. Watch Dogs Legion at launch had the exact same problems which I don't know if you heard, but I think like 2-3 weeks ago, people had like Ubisoft on the roof because somebody's holding up the building, and everyone in the comments was like, it's probably
Wow.
because Valhalla and
Right.
Watch Dogs are buggy messes. And I was like, ah, man.
I was talking with Josh about Valhalla because I was doing something and my boat just like flipped for no reason, and I was like, you know what? Ubisoft has been doing the Assassin's Creed so long that they can easily just take any bug that's happened in any Ubisoft game and just be like, oh, something happened with the Animus, and so you gotta like, I'm like, get the like, like that's exactly what I would do if I was them. But all Ubisoft games are buggy, all Bethesda games are buggy. You guys, like, people just should know it by now.
Yeah, like, and people suspected that Cyberpunk would be buggy just because of The Witcher 3 on launch.
Right.
Huge buggy mess, and then they ended up patching the game for like years.
Yeah.
It just seems that that's the way the gaming industry is now. You
Right.
release like something that barely works, and then like, oh, as people tell us what we need to fix, we'll just fix it.
But they've been talking about this game since like 2013 or something like that.
It's been a long time since they showed like I think the first time they showed something was maybe I think the longest 8 years ago. And so now to see it a finished product, and this is the finished product, you're like, oh, you guys had a lot of time to iron out bugs.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming most of the issues came from trying to keep up with the technology. Because obviously when this game was first announced, I believe Xbox One was like the Xbox One
just coming out, yeah,
were the new systems. And now with the release of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S, they're like, oh, more things that we have to upgrade so that it'll look better on these fucking next gen consoles. And so, you know, I assume that's why there's a lot of graphical issues. However, mechanics wise, like, come on.
Right. For me, when I was doing it, like, the Cyberpunk's all about like this futuristic world and like robots and cyborgs and shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is grainy as fuck. And I was getting really annoyed. And then there's that very small part in the beginning where you see a doctor and you can get new eyes and shit. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they're writing that into the story and everything will clear up. And then my guy stands up. I'm like, nope, still horse shit.
Oh,
like, I was so mad, but it is what it is. It's not a game I was looking forward to, so it's not a huge disappointment to me. But
yeah, it's it with the bugs and everything, it hasn't taken me out of the experience. I think the only things that have ever really killed the mood was the game crashing in the middle of a mission, and in that case, they did a pretty good job on the checkpoint system. Because even if you exit out of the game, you can load back in like in the middle of your mission.
Oh shit, that's good.
That's pretty great. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know anything about that. Oh. So one of the probably 2 or 3 things that I wanted to get you on here for. One of it being drawing. As a fellow person who thought he could draw until he saw your art, I was like, well, no. Fuck me, Jesus. So what I do is I hand sketch. It's very black and white. It's very rough. You draw full on, like you've had stickers made. You've made sales. Like you're a full on artist. So
yeah.
How long have you been drawing?
I think like since I could comprehend the art of drawing, like very young. I remember like back in 5th grade, I used to get in trouble because I would never turn in my homework, and my teacher would be like, well, what's in your desk? And she'd like empty out my desk in front of the entire class, and it's just drawings on like notebook paper. I remember we had like an assignment to write a book one time in like 4th grade, and my idea was like too ambitious for the amount of time they had to do it. So I just had all these drawings for this book that never came out. Oh man, it broke my heart. But at the time, I was playing, because I've been a huge nerd my entire life. So I was playing like the X-Men video game. So a lot of my ideas were like superpowers and heroes and stuff like that. And my teacher was like, this story is too long to fit into a 20-page book. We cannot do this. And I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. I had like 40 main characters and all of them did different things, and I never knew how to draw them all accurately. But over the years, as I've grown, just taking in more media and refining my skills a lot more, it's gotten a lot easier, obviously, to make ideas and consolidate the things that I'm thinking of. So that's good. That's good.
Well, it shows when you're thinking of when 90% of your drawings are curvy women in a napkin.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I saw the Instagram. I was like, well, excuse me.
Yeah. It's just I love drawing. I love drawing women, and more
Right.
specifically, I've taken a focus to drawing Black women because I don't see a lot of popular artists drawing like a lot of Black women. So I was like, I want to be that person. I want to do that.
There
I
you
want to
go.
fill that market. So yeah, that's where a lot of my recent inspiration is coming, other than fan arts of video games and comic books and things like that that I like.
Okay. That's pretty cool. That's going to lead into my main topic that I want to talk to you about. And this is because you've gained a fairly, I would say, a good following. As of this recording, when I looked on TikTok, you have 5,928 followers of your cosplay page.
Yeah,
Now,
which
now
is
that's impressive. Like, that's a lot of people.
yeah, it was, and I was telling you a little bit about the story, but I have friends who are pretty well known for cosplaying. I actually met them at MomoCon, which is a con that happens in Atlanta, last year before all this COVID stuff happened, and I met my friend Jamie, Auntie Cosplays on TikTok, and
Okay.
we just so happened to be dressed as characters in the same show, trying to find a photo shoot, and I was like, I don't know where I'm going, and so and funny enough, I went to a con with Neon too. We were all dressed up as the same characters, and we met Jamie, and Jamie was like, oh well, we'll try to find together. We found it. We had this huge community meetup of all these people who love Steven Universe. And then throughout the next couple of days, we just kept running into Jamie, and I was like, well, what's your Instagram? Like, we'll keep in touch. And we ended up
Right.
going to like movie premieres later on. She even sent me like stuff for um, Christmas, and then earlier this year she had a sleepover, and Jamie's like, "Do you want to come?" And I was like, I don't really know anybody, but I'll go. And she was saying that it's for the Adventure Zone and Critical Role. Critical Role I knew of. I knew that
Mhm.
Critical Role was a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. I had seen some of the characters from it. I liked the imagery, but I didn't know anything of it. And the Adventure Zone I knew nothing about. I didn't even know it was a Dungeons and Dragons cosplay podcast because they were talking about people named like Taco and Loop and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, weird. So I cosplayed some characters, not even knowing who they were, and then we ended up also doing Marceline and Princess Bubblegum, and I believe I did Bowsette too at that same sleepover. And I had posted my first video, like my first couple of videos, and people were liking them, and I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, this is fun. And then I believe by the end of that sleepover, I had gained like 300, and I was like, okay, maybe I should keep doing this. And
Yep.
so I started listening to the Adventure Zone, and I was doing cosplay side by side. Next, I got to 1,000, then 2,000. I believe one of my most popular videos is me dressed up as Marceline singing a song about Mothman. That was just something I did that was really silly, and I was like, well, why don't I add these like cute little stickers and emojis? And people love that video, and that like motivation of just constantly meeting new people and meeting people who aren't like upset at me being like a fat black cosplayer. Like I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fucking dope. And
Right.
like now I love doing it. My whole space is just like a mess of costume pieces and props that I've made.
Right.
It's been a really fun process.
Now, when it comes to cosplay, it's gained so much momentum within, I'd say, the past 3 to 5 years. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of big names from like Meg Turney and that I don't remember her name, Jessica something, but
Yeah.
it gained a lot of momentum, a lot of mainly Comic Con type things, but it's become
Yeah.
big on social media and stuff. What's is there any kind of challenge doing the cosplay being a black woman? Because if you look at just characters in general throughout that nerd genre, 90% white. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So is there a challenge, like say you want to be a white person, but you like that character, so I'm cosplaying. Do you get crap for it or?
Um Recently I will get some comments that are like, oh, I'm confused at why you're cosplaying this character and they're not black. Or I'll get comments that are like, you don't really look like the character because your skin tone, but like, I like the costume. And I'm like, okay, obviously. I'm not gonna sit in the mirror and
Right.
paint myself. I think that there's so much more to cosplay than skin tone.
Okay.
I know people who body paint for characters who are blue, who are purple, but general rule of thumb is just like if a character's just Caucasian,
Right.
tanned, black, like you just don't touch the skin. Don't
Right.
touch. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just that's not something the only thing people are gonna look for in the character. The character has mannerisms. The character has costumes. Most characters have defining pieces of them that are more than just their skin tone. And my general rule of thumb is that like it just make sure you're not being a jerk about it. You know.
Right.
So usually when I do get like those comments, I'm just like, okay, well, thank you for the view. Bye.
Right. You got a view out of it,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't get mad, and most of the time, those people are younger kids who might not understand that that's not an okay thing to say to somebody, and rather than getting upset at them, I'm just like, well, thanks for the view, move on.
Right.
It's funny that you say that though, because I have an albino friend, Zap Cosplays. They are a black albino cosplayer, and all the time people are telling them like, you're not black. Just because your parents are black doesn't mean you're black. You're albinos, that means you're white. And I'm like, that's not how
That's
that
not
works.
how it works. No, that's not
how it works at all. So yeah, but like, Zap is a super talented cosplayer. They mainly do anime, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It
right.
really is super good. So there's somebody I support like 100%.
Awesome. It's good to hear that you just let it roll off your shoulders. I mean, being a gamer, you deal with toxic players as it is. We all do.
Yeah.
For you, I can't. It's got to be 10 times worse because one, you're female, two, you're black. So God knows the things you hear. So me, I just get told someone's gonna fuck my mother half the time. So it's like, all right, well,
yeah,
have a good time.
It's so weird the mentality people have online, because they're just like, oh well, I'll never meet this person again. I'm like, I mean, like, true, I'll probably never meet this person again, but like, come on now, why are you doing all that? It's so much. It's just way easier to just like be nice to people.
Yeah,
but
you would think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't let it bother me. I've been on this earth for way too long to be like, oh, some guy on the internet called me a slur. I guess I'm gonna let that ruin my day.
Right.
Yeah, I leave the party, say fuck you, and move on.
That's amazing. That's what we all got to do with life. Just walk away.
Yeah. Yeah.
With cosplay, for any of those who don't like pay attention to it, it's also very, at least for the most part, it seems very sexualized. A lot of the characters are very voluptuous, or the outfits.
Yeah.
Does that bother you as a cosplayer? Do you just like, screw it, I'm gonna show it off too? Like, what's the mindset when it comes to that kind of stuff?
I tend to not cosplay overtly sexual characters, because for me, I'm such like an awkward dork, and I'm like, I'm not gonna try to pull that off. I just like, I'm me. I can't really change things about the way I look, really, because I am very well endowed in the chest. So sometimes, there's gonna be a little cleavage. I have large boobs. It is what it is.
Little.
I believe the only cosplay I've ever really had a problem with that in was my Yasha cosplay, because she wears like a little shirt with like a tied knot, and I remember somebody left a comment. I think they were like, you could land like a 747 on those things, and I was like, all right, well, I'm done with that. So yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't a bad comment. They're just
it wasn't
pointing it out.
It was a bad comment, but just like my life on the internet, like especially where like I like my face. I don't think I'm ugly. I like posting pictures of myself. Everybody does. It's just like I'll just be like existing, and somebody's like, "Wow, nice tits," and I'm like, "Okay." It's so bad. Like even just like dating, where I'm not even looking for partners, and people be like, "Hey, I like your personality, but more importantly, I like your body," and I'm like, "I don't really like you like that," and they're like, "Come on, please, just let me touch him."
Jesus.
Yeah. It's oh man, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Christ.
And
that's so bad.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks, because in a way, I'm like, oh, it's whatever because I'm used to it. But like, I shouldn't be used to it. This is something that's happened to me since I was like in 6th grade. I was like, I the way I look now, I kind of look the same way in 6th grade, minus a couple pounds, but and so I always had that like people looking at me like that, especially people who didn't know me, and it kind of got to a point where I was like, well, I can be upset about it, or I can just get over it. And as shitty as that sounds, what am I gonna do? I can't yell at everybody. I can't fuss at everybody. The only thing that's a little bit better now is that I'm an adult now. And so I can be like, fuck off, leave me alone. I won't have to worry about somebody trying to harm me because I'm a child. So that is, that whole like upbringing of that happening to me constantly was like has made me, a lot of thick skin. I was also bullied in school. So that is another thing where, I'm like, I don't really let things bother me like that.
Right.
So yeah.
That's like one of the things I was wondering, because of the over sexualization of it, is like does it suck? Like, say you spend like a week, I don't know how long it takes, but say you spend like a week on this costume, and you're just so proud of it, and this costume's kicking it, looks exactly how you want it, the makeup's on point, and first comments like, look at the rack on that girl. Like,
yeah,
like, fuck,
that
dude.
was my problem at MomoCon, because
okay,
Bowsette is a super revealing cosplay, and I had spent super long and like a lot of money too, just making the pieces for that costume, and I was super proud of it. And like, I just got people like gawking at me all day, and I was like, well, what about the cool parts of my costume?
Right.
So yeah.
Which is weird, because like, if you think on a normal day, not 9 times out of 10, but on a normal day, women, they enjoy being not gawked at. I don't want to say this wrong way, but it's like, if they look twice, oh, he looked twice, yay, or something stupid like that. But I gotta imagine working your ass off to just get that sucks.
Because like in the end, I believe people are designed to just want attention, but it's like the type of attention you get that matters.
Right.
So I'm never mad that people enjoy my craft. I'm never upset that people like enjoy just like me being around and stuff like that. But when people are like, every time I come around, people are like, oh, well, I only want one thing from you. I'm like, oh.
Right.
So yeah.
And that's a sandwich in the morning. I'm just saying. It's the only thing we want. That was stupid. How long was your, like, which costume was the longest to make? Would you say, out of all the ones you've done?
I would say, I think it's Bowsette. A lot of my other ones are ones that I piece together because they're podcast characters. They have no definite look.
Right.
But yeah, Bowsette, because I had to make the arm cuffs, I had to make the crown, which I had never done foam smithing before. And immediately after I did all that, I was like, well, I want to make a sword and shield for rose quartz. And that sword is like that's like the thing that I'm proud of the most. The sword looks so good. The only gripe I have about it is that I glued the blade onto the hilt backwards. But only like 2 people have told me about that. And I was like, it's fine. It's not something I need to worry about.
Right. How long did it take, like, for the whole thing to be done?
I think it took me like, it might have been a week actually.
Wow.
From getting supplies to like coating everything in a priming layer, waiting for things to dry, waiting to repaint things because I've messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's insane. A week's worth of work for a day. Like,
yeah.
That's awesome, but man, I don't even put effort into getting ready for work. I just wake up.
Yeah. I mean, but luckily with TikTok now, I have something that I'm gonna reuse these costumes for any random day that I don't have anything to do. I'm just gonna get in costume and play in front of the camera for like 5 hours, and then just slowly upload everything.
It's working out for you. I mean, you're killing it right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a lot of fun to watch. I think that just the amount of stuff that goes into cosplaying has always been something that just kind of gets me. Now, for the community in general, just not like the toxic people that watch cosplayers, but like the community of people that cosplay, they're all involved in it. Is it a very accepting community? Is it a toxic community?
Yeah, no, it is. so specifically, a lot of the people that follow me and that I follow are podcast cosplayers. So they usually cosplay from the Adventure Zone, the Magnus Archives, Critical Role, Dimension 20, and all of those podcasts are very like LGBT friendly. They're very just like open-minded. So the community is made up of people who like find comfort in that. So
Right.
it's just super accepting. There's like a Discord server for the Adventure Zone, and like everyone there, even if people aren't into the Adventure Zone, are super friendly.
That's cool.
It's just so nice to have like community people where like they they support each other, they uplift each other, and even on TikTok specifically, the good side of like cosplay TikTok has like blackout days, not just for Black creators, but like Hispanic creators, for disabled creators, for Jewish creators, for
Wow.
Native American and Aboriginal. Sorry, not Aboriginal. What is the word? It's Native American cosplayers, pretty much. So they set aside these days to support all these people, and it's really nice to see. It's really
Indigenous.
yeah, indigenous.
Yeah, I
Thank
was
you.
sitting here. I was like, she just messed
I
me
was
up. I'm
like,
like thinking that all night.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
oh, what is the word?
indigenous.
But yeah, indigenous.
Yes.
So it's really nice. It's really inclusive. Which is unfortunate because most of the people who do get popular, like, your typical white cosplayers. But what the smaller community lacks in fame, they make up for in virtues.
Okay.
So
Quality over quantity.
yeah, literally, yeah.
That's good stuff. Um, it's good to hear that like I wouldn't have expected them to be toxic. So like
Yeah.
with the kind of group that it seems to be, it's almost you have to know. All right, I'm getting into this. I'm the weirdo. Not
Yeah.
saying that it's weird, but like I'm the one that's stepping out of the norm. That's gonna be taken
Yeah.
so wrong, I know. But like for me doing a podcast, it's like all right, I'm the one doing this. Anybody that's against it, I know that they're against it. It's not. So the community itself, I would expect to be very welcoming and very,
Yeah.
come on in, let me show you what we got, and
Yeah.
so that's really cool. Is there like a lot of like sharing of ideas? Like, hey, I like the way you did that. What's your process on doing that? Like,
Um. So on the cosplay community, I don't think so much. So at least I haven't seen so, but I know many people aren't like stingy about their like tips and tricks.
okay,
A lot of people are happy to upload tutorials of like how they did it with certain effects, or maybe the process of making a certain item that they have for cosplay or where they got something, things like that. I know me and a lot of other cosplayers usually have like their wish list, their Amazon wish list for people who want to help create, help send things to help us create stuff. So it's just like it's just really good vibes. That's all I
that's
can
awesome.
describe. It's really good vibes.
Good. No, I mean that's awesome. Everybody needs good vibes. It's
Yeah.
a place to run away to when this crazy world's going.
Yeah, because
Um,
quarantine sucks and everyone has time to sit at home and get in costume.
right. Well, quarantine sucks specifically for somebody who apparently had COVID, which you
Yeah.
had. So I've
Yes.
covered a little bit. Saying a little bit, I've covered it like every episode on this damn thing because I started this podcast during quarantine.
Yeah.
Um, Nobody I've had on has had it yet,
So
so
me.
you you get to break that cherry.
Oh man.
Um, that's
So I
so
had a
like
group of friends.
well, yeah. Tell me how you got it, and you got to explain what it was like having it. Because was it just the flu? Was it worse?
Yeah, it was way worse. I had a group of friends. We all have a Discord server together, and a lot of them lived in New York. And I wanted to go to New York for my birthday. This happened like around March. I wanted to go for my birthday, but also I wanted to meet my friends because like this is gonna be super fun. We had a friend that was coming from the UK. We had somebody who's coming from Florida. Somebody else was coming from West Virginia, and then I was coming from Georgia. And I was really excited. I was like, I'm gonna visit my parents. Well, my mom and my siblings, my grandmother, and all that. And so I had my ticket to go. We all had our tickets to go, and we were hearing about the virus over in China. And we were like, yeah, it's okay. It's not in the States yet, and we hear they're closing communications and stuff like that. And then the closer we got to the date, the more we started getting reports. We actually had like a COVID map that we would look at every day to see how many cases there were in New York. And when we flew out, there was only 18.
Right.
And I flew out for a week longer than a lot of the other people who are coming from out of state went. But we pretty much got there. I got there. I was staying with a friend until somebody else came, and then we got an Airbnb together. But I was staying with a friend, and for the most part, we're like, it's okay. We even went out to eat that first day, and like no one had a mask on. No one had a mask on. Like it was just everything was cool. Everything was going like it normally was. And then as the week went on, New York got more and more empty. I remember we went to Times Square, and it was dead. It was dead on a Friday night. Absolutely nobody was around, and we were the only people. We were like a party of like I think like 10 of us at this like Japanese barbecue restaurant. It was a fun night. It was really fun. We all got to meet each other. We got to hang out. And the next day, we had a friend coming from the UK after that dinner, and she had notified us that when she got on the plane, her pilot said that they will not be able to come back.
Wow.
And she arrived. We wanted to go do a bunch of stuff, but we couldn't because everything was closed. Even her landlord, not her landlord, the Airbnb person who was running her place was like, "Don't bring people here. I don't want outside people here. Like you are allowed here, no one else is." We ended up having to stay in the Airbnb, doing like we had to play like board games and like buy alcohol and chop cheeses and shit and bring them to the Airbnb, and just hang out inside like the entire time. There was a couple times we went out that I feel like we were very stupid for going out, because it was like in the middle of everything. We saw all the stores closing. We're like, well, we don't know how long we're gonna be in New York, and we might not be able to leave for a while until like the summer when we have like our second meetup. Boy, were we wrong.
Right.
So everyone ends up going home, and before we go home, I remember my friend from the UK, Lola, she was like, "I can't taste or smell anything," and we were like, "Uh-oh." And then the guy that she was hanging out with was like, "Yeah, I'm a little stuffy," and then everybody else was like, "Yeah, I feel a little sick." Me and my other friend, we call her Leafies. She was sick. She was feeling sick, and I was feeling sick too. As soon as I touched down, I was like, I feel a little sick, but maybe it's because the change in air. Obviously, it was in the springtime. I thought maybe my allergies are just coming because I do have a pollen allergy. I get home, and the first couple of days, it's all good. Animal Crossing came out. I was playing Animal Crossing. I was having fun with it.
Everybody was.
Yeah, and I just got sick, like really sick. I realized that my stuffy nose wasn't going away. I didn't have a cough, so that's why I didn't think I had COVID. I didn't have a cough. I had just a really stuffy nose, and I was really tired all the time, and I was just like sleeping a lot. And then eventually, it did come with a cough, and the coughs came with chest pain, and the chest pain came with just like me not wanting to eat, me only wanting to sleep and not really being able to sleep because it was hard for me to like get comfortable in my bed sometimes. I would have days where I would just like lay down all day, and then people would text me like, "Hey, are you all right? Like, are you okay?" My mom, bless her, because she was taking care of me the entire time. She was, constantly giving me like soup and stuff like that. I would say the worst part of being sick, when I realized like, oh shit, I might have COVID, because I called the hospital and they told me not to go, was I had gone downstairs to get something to eat, and I came back up. And when I came back up, I had a coughing fit, and I couldn't breathe for like 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not leaving this room again, because I don't want to have to not be able to breathe. My bathroom, right across my room door, I would go to the bathroom and come back and wouldn't be able to breathe because I was so tired.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. And eventually, like, I had so much like phlegm and all that in my system that, like, when I was coughing, it was like phlegm and blood, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I just sweat it out. I had to sweat it out. It was terrible. I was sick for 2 weeks, and I had a lingering sickness for like a week after that. And everybody else who went on that trip also got sick too. And we were like, there's no way we didn't have COVID. And it turns out 2 people got tested and they had COVID. So I'm 100% sure that we all had it.
Right.
I even had to get tested like last weekend because one of my cousins got it. And we had been around her. She was a medical professional. She is a medical professional, and she had showed up for like a small family thing, and then she was sick with the exact same symptoms that I had, and so everybody, like, we had a whole family group chat of like 20 something people talking like, go get tested right now. Luckily, a lot of those came back negative. Just the one cousin got sick, but she's feeling a lot better now. It's serious though. It really is serious. My mom has had, I believe, 2 coworkers die from COVID, and one that's not even allowed to go back to work until next year because she had it and it did like a number on her lungs. She has to do breathing therapy now.
That's incredible. It's easily perceived as hyped because of media and how media acts towards it. But hearing like how you felt and everything, it doesn't sound fun at all.
It was not. I felt so sick that at one point I was like, I don't want to feel anything anymore. It was so bad. It just, like, you never really notice how much you take breathing for granted until you can't. And that was like, was my like, maybe I shouldn't have gone on the trip moment.
Right. There's no way you could have known at that point with how quick it came over here and started gaining numbers over here.
Yeah. It was like once it hit New York, it just spread like wildfire. Yeah. And then, like, you know, people like us going on trips and not wearing masks and stuff like that, like, only helped the spread. My sister actually got sick too. She, at the same time I went to New York, she went to Pennsylvania. She touched down and got sick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, funny story. Her returning flight, she was feeling a lot better. They had nobody on the plane, so she got to sit in first class, and she got drunk on her flight home to Georgia.
It's a good flight.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
Well, other states handled it better than mine. So Florida saw it and was like, "Oh, I want to touch that and play with it."
Yeah, it seems like Georgia and Florida were like, "We're gonna do this together." And by do this, I mean not do this. Georgia was like, "Oh, we'll go on lockdown," and then lockdown happened for like 1 week, and they were like, "No more lockdown. We just suggest that you stay home." But, you know, bars and restaurants and clubs will still stay open. I think Six Flags is open right now, which is very irresponsible. It's just, yeah. I make this joke all the time. Like, remember back in March when we said this will all be over in May? And then in May, when we all said this will be over in June, and then June, when we all said this will be over in September.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, everyone's waiting for New Year's because 2020 has been such a shit year. It's not getting any better.
Yeah.
2021 is going to be crap.
Wipe everything out.
No, 2021 is going to be crap also. And I mean,
unless we change, but I don't see that happening.
I mean, there's going to be change if you look at the government, but to me, I don't know if it's going to be good change. I don't know if it's going to be bad change. I'm just not looking forward to it either way.
It's 2020 has been a scary year, and like now we're gonna have to live with the outcome of this year forever. So it's kind of nerve-wracking to see, like, oh man, when the ball drops, somebody's just gonna end it.
Yeah, right.
Just pull the plug on the entire Earth.
All we're doing is getting ready for level 2. All us gamers are ready for 2021. This is just the next level.
Yeah. Like, all right, let me just upgrade everything. No,
exactly.
I survive. Wave 2.
So going back a little bit, because you mentioned a lot of your cosplays from those podcasts that cover D&D. Just a couple episodes ago, I had a buddy of mine on trying to explain D&D to me, and I felt dumber listening because I just didn't understand it. You do play it though, also.
Yes.
How long have you been playing D&D?
I've been playing D&D for, I think, 7 years now.
Wow.
My first time ever playing, I was a tiefling bard against everyone's better wishes. They were like, if you're a tiefling, why would you? They're the most uncharismatic characters ever. Why would you pick a charisma build? And I'm like, I don't know, I just want to play music. And that first session we played was like 13 hours. We ordered a plate of like, I think it was like 100 Chick-fil-A nuggets, and we're like, all
Oh
right,
my God.
we sat down for 13 hours and had a pretty good time. One of my friends almost died, which seems to be a running trick in Dungeons and Dragons. There's always one comic relief character who just gets the shit kicked out of them constantly for their decisions.
Right.
In my first D&D campaign, it was a guy who decided he would touch an ominous cloud that sucked all the blood out of his body. In the most recent campaign I played, it was a guy who thought he would touch a nightshade fruit in the swamp with no gloves on and got poisoned. So, you know.
Jesus.
Yeah, but out of all the D&D campaigns I've played, I believe this most recent one is the most fun one I've done. I've done a 5e campaign, which is like fantasy, and
Okay.
I've also done a D20 modern, which is like our world or farther along in it, however you want to do it. And we're actually playing a homebrew campaign that this one friend has been developing for, I think, over a decade. So we're
Wow.
just like a little pebble in the storyline that is how long his fictional world has existed. And it's pretty great because he added a lot of classes, he added a lot of new mechanics. My character that I'm playing is a candy witch. She was a mountain elf who worked in a bakery, decided she wanted to do better things like adventure. So, you know, I have that whole thing where I'm a witch, I have a familiar, I have a cauldron, you know, the whole song and dance. I'm the group cook. I'm the reason why no one's dead yet. So I'm sort of a pseudo cleric. We have like a big, strong, dumb guy who only wants to hit things, and he works well for that. We got a necromancer who only is good for getting in the way of everyone else being hit. We've also got a prime folk, which is like a monkey man. We've got he's a bard. He's our silver tongue. And then we have an assassin, an assassin with a demon. Who, funny enough, I met that demon's sister, and we formed our own pact. So now I have my own demon.
That's a big group.
Yeah, no, it's a group of 5 of us, and we have a lot of companions. I think one of the funniest things that we've done is we currently just got to finish our first arc of a time loop that we were stuck in, and we had to make sure that the world didn't end. So when we finally when we had our time reset, there was a puka, which is like this spirit of the forest, who apparently had lived like 1,000 lives of my character, and had fallen in love with her. So when we first met, I wasn't sure if he was going to kill me or kidnap me, and it just turns out that he wanted me to notice him. And I was like, oh, well, that's sweet. And you know, it's D&D is one of those things like roleplay. You start it and you're like, oh, it seems like really nerdy, but then you get really invested in it, and you want to see where these storylines go, and you're so interested in other people's characters and all these other characters and these impromptu moments that you're suddenly thrown and you have to react in the mindset of your character. That's why I think you would like it. I think you'd like it a lot, just from how I've seen you role-playing in Grand Theft Auto. Like, the Tibbs character was great. That was one of my favorite little story things that we ever done in Grand Theft Auto ever. Like, that show was so great. With, you know, Brian and Neon and Jordan and all those people. Like, it was so fun that we had a fully realized story that went on for like weeks, and we were excited to see what had like that feeling is like the exact same feeling I get with D&D. So,
you know, like it's been like a year or so that I like, you know, I would see D&D in like TV shows and, you know, Big Bang Theory, stuff like that, Stranger Things. And it's like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. But like after listening to my buddy talk about it, and I'm like, that sounds like something I probably would enjoy, unfortunately. Yeah. And then I just, to think that you could spend 13 to 14 hours for one like campaign or one thing, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's a long time.
It is. It's fun though. You don't even realize the time passes by.
Right.
Because our sessions on average are like 5 to 6 hours a week. Sometimes if we just get the itch for it, we'll play like more than one game a week, and we'll just spend like 10 hours doing D&D stuff that week alone.
Wow.
It's just so interesting that once you get started, you know, you want to find out the mystery, you want to explore more, you want to find more about what you're doing in this world and where you're gonna go next. So yeah, once you get past the, you know, rolling out your character and you finally you realize you got all the pen and paper stuff figured out, how many spells you get a day, just being able to live in the moment is great. I recently had a moment where my character's a werewolf. I've been trying to cure that for the longest time. At a jar of cookies. I didn't quite understand the instructions that came with them. All I remember was that I have to get somebody to eat all 12 cookies, and the 13th cookie for me to get cured, but they'll get the werewolf disease. And so my first instinct was, I can feed these cookies to the party. So I'm offering everyone cookies, and suddenly the DM's like, all right, everybody, do a willpower save. And I was like, why would they need to do that? And one guy in particular failed his, and he instantly transformed to a werewolf and was like feral. And I had to save him from being murdered by our other party members. I was like, wait, guys, no, hold on. He's just angry. Please be patient with it.
Oh my God, you almost got somebody killed.
Yeah, and then upon further realization is that the cookies transform you instantly. They have the chance to transform that person instantly, or make them contract the disease. And I was like, I guess I should find that out. So I stopped just carelessly giving away cookies. But in the recent events where we fought an owlbear, and we were, I think, the third people to fight an owlbear. The other two parties that fought said owlbear had their entire party wiped out. But the grace of God, somehow we beat it. There's a moment where our tank, our literally strongest character, was beaten within an inch of his life in one move. And I was like, well, I can't let him die. So I took the sacrifice. I ate a cookie, turned into like a werewolf 4 times its size, and pretty much beat it to death in order to save my friends. So
gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. So you will surprise yourself how much you'd like D&D.
Damn. So that's the second person to say that. Now I'm lured. Now I'm gonna have to find somebody that's, because my buddy knows it. It's not like I just go to Georgia and be like, hey, let's do this. So my buddy knows how to do it. I'm gonna have to try and get him to show me.
Yeah.
He said there's some like online ones that you can do it for like starters and stuff.
Roll20 is really good. That's what we use.
I think that's what he said.
I know there's like PC Gen 2. PC Gen's a little more technologically advanced, but it gets the job done with creating and keeping up with your character sheet.
All right.
But, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons is really fun. It is super fun. Anytime somebody's like, hey, do you want to do this campaign? I'm like, definitely. We've even got a homebrew Pokemon campaign going on. So, we literally have to go out, catch Pokemon, and battle each other, and figure out mysteries and stuff like that, yeah.
Jesus. Kenzie would love that. She's all into Pokemon right now.
Yeah, like, Dungeons and Dragons is so customizable. I'm pretty sure, like, your favorite TV show universe has Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I'm sure it does. It'd be Game of Thrones, and I'm sure there's hundreds of Game of Thrones. Yeah,
definitely. They even have some modules that are like easy to move into your own template. I mentioned them before. The Adventure Zone. Their first campaign was doing just like 5e. The next campaign they did Monster of the Week, which is you have a new monster, it runs on a completely different system, like your stats are different and everything. It's like, it's easy to customize to whatever I feel like how much you want to keep up with for your players. Like Monster of the Week is really easy. You get like you get 4 stats like coolness, toughness, and I think intelligence and magic.
Okay.
And you've got to keep up with those stats. You only have to roll like a d6 to see if you successfully do something or not, and most of it is super roleplay based. D20 is, the same way, where you roll a 20 for most of your decision based things at any given moment. Like, I believe like above a 10 or 13 is a success, and usually a 1 is a critical failure, 20 is a critical success. There's tons of handbooks and stuff like that for you to learn. But I say the best teacher is doing. Like, you can sit there and try to game the system all you want, but if you're not like in the shit, you're never gonna like truly learn it.
Right. I'm gonna die the first little mission that I run into. I know it.
Yeah, probably, but it happens, and hopefully you have a nice DM that lets you re-roll a character.
Right. You come across an ogre on a bridge. What do? I'm gonna smack its ass. I wouldn't do that. Well,
Yeah.
You don't know me very well. Oh my gosh. Oh, what do we got? Man. I'm covering most of the things I had written down. I mean, I knew, like, just from being in parties with you, all I gotta do is mention something and you're just gonna go off on it, and I wouldn't have to say much. So
Yeah, I'm a rambler. I know it.
you're passionate. We'll say that you're passionate about what you enjoy. So we'll put some links down below. You got your Instagram for all your art, which is Addicted to the Finest Pizza or something like that, right?
Yeah, Addicted to the Finest Pizza.
Where did that come from? Why?
I think so. I don't know how I got upon it, but like 8-Bit is an easier story to explain than Addicted to the Finest Pizza. I think Addicted to the Finest Pizza, I just logged on and I was like, well, I like pizza. And I saw a name that was like similar to it. I think it was like Addicted to like Fine China or something like that. And I was like, well, I'll be addicted to the Finest Pizza because
I enjoy that. Where did 8-Bit come from?
So 8-Bit, I've been on the internet for a very long time. I joined the internet as a teenager, so you can imagine I was very angsty. And I was very emo. And so my original name on the internet was Emo Heartbreaker. And then I changed it to Little Emo Monster, and then I changed it to 8-Bit Monster because I liked video games. Like, I have to add my nerdy stuff in there.
Right.
I'm no longer emo. Now I'm a nerd. I changed it to 8-Bit Monster, and then it transformed into Yo, it's 8-Bit, and I was like, I like that. I think I'll keep that.
Right.
It's very
so
short.
the best part for me is because your gamer tag says Yo, it's 8-Bit. And it just says it one thing. With a capital I. So for me, I thought it just said Yolts 8-Bit. And I was like, that's the weirdest gamer tag I ever heard. So I was like, all right, whatever, Yolts 8-Bit. And like, it was like probably a month that Jordan, like, it says Yo, it's 8-Bit. I was like, oh, all right, that makes more sense.
I got so tired of correcting people that I just never did. I was like, yeah, it's whatever.
Right. I just said, screw it, I'm dropping the first part and just calling her 8-Bit. Like, so
like,
we'll have.
That's an acceptable nickname. Most people who knew me on Xbox, they still know me now. Like, what's up, 8-Bit?
Yeah, it's just gonna be what it is. A lot of gamer tags stick for people that like you don't know personally, or just if that's what they know you from, that's what they call you, unless you change it like I do.
For the longest time, I was like, yeah, Tony, and everybody's like, Tony. I'm like, yeah, Tony, like Tony. Yep. And they're like, who's Tony? And I'm like, oh, I mean Rick.
Yep. My gamer tag used to be What About Tony, and that's from a comedy skit from a guy named Brett Ernst. So that's changed recently, but yeah, I was wanting to change it for so long because I swear there was like bad juju with that gamer tag. Every time I got in a game, whether it be like Rocket League or something, but most recently Siege. So we would all get in Siege, and Brian could literally walk up to a teammate, shoot him in the head, team kill him. The next round, the guy would shoot me, and I'm like, what the fuck did I do?
Oh yeah. Wow, yeah, so, I almost forgot about like our entire Rainbow. The Rainbow Saga was very interesting.
Yeah. So like,
I specifically remember the one night I was waiting for my game to download. It's me, you, John, and Brian, and the one guy got on and was like, "Fuck you, and fuck you." And he started yelling out like city names, and I was like, "Oh my." So yeah, maybe the name change is for the best.
Yeah, so I still get the brunt of any kind of like, anytime someone wants to talk shit, it's always towards me. So like if the group is all on, for some reason I'm the one that gets the message like, you guys suck. I'm like, fuck you, dude, I didn't say anything. But it's not as much as it was.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, we'll have your we're gonna put your stuff down below. Your Instagram, your TikTok is the Kitty Noir Cosplay. We'll have that so people can go follow and check out all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully you do more and more, and one day we can get you back on here and talk some more.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is very fun. This is a very fun experience.
Any thought?
Yes, it is.
There it is.
Than I I didn't want to say it, but it's easier
Dang.
than I thought.
Everybody says it like right before I hit record. She's like, I'm a little nervous. I'm like, well, hopefully it's at the end. You'll say the same thing everybody else says. But yeah, so it's just like a party, except you actually get to see each other now.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on here. You were
No
a delight
problem.
as always. And if you guys just get a chance, go check out all of her stuff. She's super talented. The
I'm
art
very
is
friendly.
amazing. She's very friendly. Very, very friendly. Possibly too friendly. She can get herself in trouble. But 8-bit, I will talk to you later.
All right.